Hello and welcome to the Hypno Fairy Godmother Show. I am so glad that you found me today. This is going to be a great show. You know how I feel about this. I am Shirley, your Hypno Fairy Godmother here in Southern California. I am a rainbow girl going way, way, way back. But I'm also special, I specialize in the LGBT community, BDSM community, kink community, anybody that doesn't really feel like they fit in. And that's really sad because I think that everybody needs a tribe. So think of me as your tribal leader. And here I am for you. And, hopefully today we'll learn a little bit, maybe get a little inspired, maybe get a little giggle. You never know how it's going to turn out. So that is my job here for you as your Hypno Fairy Godmother. So before we get going, those of you that know me, and I hope that if you're brand new, you think of, checking in on me every once in a while. I'm here every week on Monday at 3 o'clock. But I also repost all of my shows on my YouTube page and on my Facebook page. And you can always, always find me on that Instagram and every other social media place that you can find me as far as podcasts go and things like that. So if you don't know me, then you get to learn something really fun and exciting today. So what we're going to do is first thing I want you to do is we're going to take a gigantic deep breath. And when I say I want you to take a deep breath, I mean from your core, not up here, but from your core. And you're going to take that deep breath and you're going to hold it and you're slowly going to exhale. Now, the one thing that I forgot, and I cannot believe that I forgot this because I do this before I do anything else, is always, always, always when you're listening to my show or you're re listening to my show, please make sure that you're in a safe place. You are not driving, that you're not working on a project, you're not working from home. You're not doing anything that you really need to do, that you really need to be doing. You can always re listen later. I won't be offended. I know you're out there. I can feel the love, but you always need to make sure that if I'm telling you to take a deep breath or I'm telling you to close your eyes or do something, don't do that while you're driving or you have your kids or you're working. Please, please, safe place. So now that we got that first one, the next thing I want you to do is wiggle your toes. Yes, I said it. Wiggle those toes. Wiggle, wiggle those, French those toes. Next thing I want you to do, wiggle your buns. I know, I said it. Wiggle, scrunch them together. Wiggle those buns. Do you know why? Because you cannot be in a bad mood when somebody tells you to come up and squeeze your buttons together. It's like, come on, come on. And you're loosening your lower back. But wiggle those buns together. One more nice deep breath. Hold it in and exhale again with a smile and an affirmation. So maybe I got this. Today's going to be okay. We're going to make it through this. Something that helps you get you through the day. I know how I feel when I'm having a hard time getting through the day. So sometimes I just need that deep breath. If you need, if you've got a couple extra seconds, then roll your shoulders, then roll this way, roll your neck. And just think from just like 2 minutes, I'm looking 2 minutes. You have now relaxed everything from your toes to your nose and right up above, because during the day we get so riled up that sometimes we don't quite know what to do to get ourselves back down again. This is the way I do it. This is the way. You wiggle your buns, you wiggle your toes. I got that from a great friend of mine, and I appreciate every day that I learn that because you need to have these ways of expanding your heart, expanding your soul. This is all about what to do, little things that you can do for you that will keep you going, that'll keep you just moving just a little bit. We've been through so much in the last 16 months. Think about it. We're not done yet. We're close. We're closer, but we're not done yet. So we still have to be patient. And if you have to be patient anyway, why not be patient this way? With a smile, with a learning new ways to take care of yourself. Isn't that the greatest way to do things? I honestly think it is. So, one of the things that I want to talk about today is, and we've talked about it once before, but it was kind of a long time ago. So, today's kind of a two-parter. But one of the things that I've heard coming up again is that people are doing what's called doom scrolling. Yes, that is DOOM, doom scrolling. And if you've never heard of this term, it's something that has become, it started to go down a little bit. Now it's right back up. And we spend so much time with the phone in your hand and your laptop and your tablet and your everything else, and you get wrapped up on what's going on politically or in your neighborhood even. And there's chaos everywhere, and we go down that rabbit hole, and you find one recording that shows that something that catches your attention, just kind of in the back of your little subconscious brain. And the next thing you know, you're looking for everything on that subject. And it's hard not to. It is so, so hard not to. But we're thinking, and we always have, now that now that we're at home so much more, it's easy to fall down that rabbit hole. You hear something new about COVID, and the next thing you know, you're looking for every little thing about COVID, every little thing. What did this person say? What did this person say? And it just goes and goes and goes and goes. And maybe that'll lead to, oh, well, this person had COVID, but also had a side. Okay, well, now I have to look up everything that goes with that side event. Oh, no. And then you're doom scrolling one more time. And there's political things going on and demonstrations going on. And we just keep scrolling and refreshing and scrolling and refreshing. And it's called doom scrolling. It's like, what new horrors do we have today? And as much as I wish that I can tell you to just stop, I can't tell you to stop. I'm a creature of the news too, and I would love to spend the day not dealing with what's going on or kind of ignoring what's going on, but you can't do that. But you also can't get overwhelmed. The mental health system in this country is sad. It's overwhelming. And more people have come out recently and stated, that they do suffer from mental health and they do want to help with their, improve their mental health. But it's so hard to do that when you have, you know, all you hear all day long is the bad. I'm one of the people here that will hope and try to give you the good, but we still have the bad. Some websites and some radio stations, especially lots of websites, will have what they call push notifications, which means that if you put in pandemic or COVID or a political party or whatever you're saying, maybe it could be Pokemon cards. Every time anyone posts anything about that, you get a notice, bing, and that's up. Well, your instinct isn't to go, oh, well, I'll look at that later. I'll just look at that later. No, your instinct is to just flash it up and go, okay, well, I'll just look at it for a second. That second can be 2, 3 hours later. We've all done it. We have all gone down that loophole. You know, Sometimes it's in a good way. Sometimes you get on a site like Pinterest or YouTube or whatever, and you're learning a new craft, and the next thing you know, you've spent hours and hours learning everybody's directions and everybody's way of doing it, and then you have to try it. That may not be such a bad way of doing it, but that's not actually doom scrolling. That's just falling down, falling down that hole. We've all fallen down that hole too. But with doom scrolling, it's a matter of, when you get that push notification, or take the push notifications off. Um, we also, as a country, seem to have, well, actually, everybody does this, not just us as a country, but nobody just has a computer. We all have computer and a laptop and a phone and any other electronic device and a watch. I've seen people with their staring at their watches as much as they stare at their phones. And so we have all these devices and we've added all of these pushes to all of these devices. Well, one of the things that we can do to make things a little bit easier is take take them off of everything but maybe one thing, and it should be the thing that you use the least. Because if you're being dinged all day long, first of all, you're not being productive. We all want to be productive, but we don't want to be that person that gets overwhelmed at every second, because what we're hearing in the news, and sometimes what we're hearing medically, and sometimes what we're hearing, you know, it's so overwhelming. And if it's overwhelming for you, it's overwhelming for your mental health. It's overwhelming for who you are. It can be overwhelming for your children if you have kids living at the house, older adults. It can be, you know, and that leads to insomnia. And insomnia leads to, and I mean, you can see where this is going. We need sleep to keep us going. Well, okay, that's great. But we also need sleep to, keep our brains functioning. And if you're laying there all night thinking about all the horrible, horrible things that you've heard, how are you supposed to do that? It's really, really hard to do that part of it also. Um, so take those push notifications off. Decrease that pressure on your mental health. Nobody wants to hear bad things every single day. Nobody does. I'm telling you, I don't want to hear bad things all day. I'm sure you don't want to hear bad things all day. So maybe just put them off, or just don't put them on at all. If it's something that I wouldn't want to hear, nobody wants to hear bad news. I'm just telling you that when it comes, and we say that we're multitasking. That's my favorite. We always say we're multitasking. I'm the worst at this, by the way. So it's like, well, if I have my computer on over here and I have my phone on over here and I have this on over here, then I won't miss anything. And that way I'm multitasking because I'm actually focusing here. You're not focusing. I wish you were, excuse me, I wish you were focusing, but you are not focusing on anything. You aren't focusing on one thing, much less on the 5 things that you have going on, because all of those things could have push notifications on different things. So you have a COVID push over here, you have something about your local school district over here, you have something about the weather report that's coming up over here. These are not things that we need to deal with. These are not things that we need to handle. Come on. It's just a great big distraction, you know and there are honestly networks out there that deal in no news. I know it's weird, but you can actually find out. Take a day off. I did that the other day. I just took a day off from the news, and it was weird for me because, like I said, I'm kind of a news junkie. But I just was like, I can't do it. I There's just something about it that made me just need to take a breather. Um, and so I caught up on, you know, unfortunately, you go from news junkie to, you know, you're binge watching something, which is something that we've also come into. We also have a wonderful way of binge watching things. But you can find things that have nothing to do with sad, have nothing to do with anger, have nothing to do with. I think, do you have a hobby? Think of the hobbies that you have. I know you have hobbies. We all have little tiny hobbies. Or learn a new one. What is the greatest way of now that we have been home for this long? YouTube has gone crazy with all of the new I have learned about sports that I never knew about, and I'm a big sports person. I learned how to do things I never learned how to do. I taught myself things that now it's a skill that I own. I know some of us have had those. Is there anything that you've ever wanted to learn how to do? Well, learning a new activity is not a bad thing. Learning a new activity is actually a really good thing. And it's great for your mental health because your brain isn't where it shouldn't be. Your brain is actually where it should be, which is growing and learning and opening up. These are the things that we need to do more of. And yes, you can go down that rabbit hole too, because we've all gone down that rabbit hole. I'm going to learn how to whatever it is. I have a friend that never learned how to knit, always wanted to learn how to knit, and now she knits like a crazy person. Knitting is not a bad thing. You know what? It's actually a relaxing thing. Takes the pressure and stress off of your arms and hands. It may not seem that way, but even sometimes she needs to take a break. But it's learning a new skill. It's learning new ways of doing things. You can do that. You can clear out, those tabs. You can clear out, all the crazy tabs. You know, if you got involved into a group that might not really fit what you're looking for now. The beginning, we're different people than we were 16 months ago. We are completely different people than we were 16 months ago. We have learned new things. We have become, we have the way we relate to people, good and bad. And unfortunately, some of us are good and some of us have gone really bad to the other side. But, don't panic. Don't panic. We can turn the corner. We're going to turn the corner. We're already turning the corner. You know, Today I got to go outside and, walk down to get my mail and didn't have to wear a mask on. Actually felt pretty good. It wasn't a long walk, and where I'm at, we technically still have a mask mandate. So if I had decided to go to a store, would still have had to wear a mask. But that's okay. It's better for me. It's better for anybody else that was in that store, but you can turn those. You can turn that corner. You can make it better. That's what our whole idea is to make it better. I know. I know. You can hear it in my voice. I'm not getting patronizing. I promise. I promise. Another thing out there that people have been when the last time when I did this about doom scrolling, people were a little bit mad at me, telling me that I was a little mean to them. And I'm not telling you to never listen to the news. My job is mental health. Okay. Everything that I believe in is to make sure that your mental health is great. Think about that. If my job is to control your mental health and to give you tips and tricks on ways, I'm not going to come at you and go, no, you squeezed your buns together wrong. No, I'm not. It doesn't work that way. So my whole idea is if I'm telling you or giving you suggestions, then use them as suggestions. If I say, you know what, go for a day maybe without the news. Okay, that's not a mean thing. That's just a thing. And if I tell you that, I love we don't have to do it too much anymore, but we used to have to stand in really super long lines to get into any store. And like I said, some we still do, but not as bad. And I would wear my mask and I would wear my headphones and I would listen to music and dance. And people could tell that I was kind of smiling and they were looking at me weird, but that was my way of relaxing. And I'm just giving you those ways to relax. Books on tape. I know people that have learned immense things with books on tape when they're standing in those lines. If you don't want to dance, that's up to you. Me, I'm a dancing queen. Who knew? But if you want to listen to books on tape, we don't all have time to I wish we did. And my theory, if you don't have 15 minutes to sit and meditate and take care of yourself, then you probably need at least 60. But, listen to those books on tape. If you're walking around, if you're standing, in line for somewhere, don't just stand there angry. There are so many things that we can do that we don't have to worry quite as much about. There are things that we can do that don't have anything to do with any other person besides us. When I suggest and go outside and wear your mask, because we're still there. It's getting better. Like I said, it is totally getting better. Um, and the CDC has opened up and said, small groups outside, go for it. If everybody's vaccinated, I love it. So take your walks. Take your walks without your mask, or have it in your pocket just in case. But smell the flowers. When was the last time you got to go for a walk and smell the flowers? Actually smell them, like with your mask, like not up here, but down, you actually get to, you know, go to the water if you're anywhere near the water, which is my big thing. Go to the water, smell the ocean. Who doesn't want to smell the ocean? It's such an amazing thing. Go to a creek, go to we're finally starting to get out of this. So, when it comes to doom scrolling and it comes to going down that rabbit hole, don't always think of it as a bad thing, and yes, I'm not telling you to be, ignorant of what's going on. That's not me either. Your hypno fairy godmother, that's not what she does either. You know, I help you make sure that if you do start feeling like you're going down that rabbit hole, different ways that you can do to get out of it. What have you already tried that's not working? Maybe some of you for the first time today had some stranger tell you to wiggle your buns. Not a bad thing. You know, may not have been me, but you never know. One of my other favorite ones is called the 3-2-1. And you can do this if you're starting to feel a little stressed out at work. If you're starting to feel a little stressed out, on your walk. Some people will some people will need to wear masks for a long time. And that has nothing to do with you. So don't take it personally that they're wearing that mask for you. Some people with autoimmune diseases, or maybe they're recovering from cancer, or maybe they're recovering from other things. These are people that are going to need to wear masks. And so there is no reason to need to be, mean to the person that's doing this. And I have seen that in the last week, and it made me wonder. But let's say you're starting to get, too many people are coming towards you, or it's the first time you've gone out really in these last few months, you know, have that mask with you. But if you need something and you don't feel like you can wiggle your toes or your buns or take a deep breath, and I tell everybody to just take a seat, if you can take a deep, you take a sit down wherever you can and take a few deep breaths from your abdomen. And the reason why, we're going to go back to the abdomen thing. The reason why I tell you to take breaths from your abdomen and not from your up here on your chest is that if you are starting to have a panic attack and you need to have deep breath, your lungs need to fill up. Okay? Your lungs cannot fill up here. Your lungs can only fill up where the bottom of your lungs are. This is very important. So I just kind of I remembered that I had forgotten to go back to explain why you need to do that. And it looks like the end of next month, I'm actually going to be teaching a breathing retreat, like a little 1 day online breathing retreat. So anybody that wants to learn more about breathing techniques and ways that proper breath can help you and your body, perfect. I'll talk more about that way later when it gets a little bit closer. But if you're starting to feel like you're having that panic attack, an easy one to do, it's called 3, 2, 1. And what you do is look around and just see three things, just three things. They can be anything. Can be a car, can be a wall, can be a flower. And then two things that you can hear, and that can be anything. Two random things that you can hear. And then I want you to tell yourself deep inside one thing that you absolutely know, that true to power, that you absolutely know. And if you can do those things by then, I'm guessing that you have already calmed yourself down. These are just little tips and tricks. When I come out here and, I'm not about to not give you the stuff, I'm going to give you the stuff. But the breathing and the recognizing what's happening around you, that's the other thing. People tend to wait until it's too late. If you're feeling like you need any help with mental health, please don't wait. Please don't wait. You as a person, me as a person, all of us, we have been through so much. And whether you believe in hypnotherapy or you want a psychologist, psychiatrist, a counselor, just a friend, think about this. You have friends. Call your friend. Have a Zoom call. Have a Zoom call with wine. Even more will come out. These are things that you can do that will help you get through the hard stuff, will help you get through, you know, the talk about it. Because think about this. If it's bothering you, it's most likely bothering someone else too. And that other person that it could be bothering could be somebody you didn't even think about. We have people around us every day that are going through the same stuff we are. You don't have to wear your heart on your sleeve, and you don't have to tell everyone your every problem. But what you do need to do is take responsibility and go, I'm not feeling well. I need to get past this. It's hard. It is so hard for all of us to get to the next day. For some people it's harder to get to the next day than to others. For some people, they made it through this pandemic and didn't bother them a bit. For them, walk in the park, had their stuff delivered, worked from home, didn't even have to deal with it. Yay! For other people, so far, this has been the hardest 15, 16 months ever. I went from working out of a store and working out of a spa and working out of, seeing people face to face and giving hugs. And, this was who I am. And I was out there and in the community. And then all of a sudden, you're not in the community anymore. So what do you do then? So, yeah, you kind of have to rearrange your things. And that's what brings back to that whole doom scrolling and stuff, because what will happen is you'll feel depressed. You'll get up in the morning, you'll feel depressed in a day, and you'll go, this isn't worth it. Let me find horrible news and let me just dwell on it all day long. I don't want to dwell. Ew, no, we don't dwell on things. So this is kind of what I'm telling you to do, that we can make it around this corner. We don't have to dwell in the doom corner. We don't have to find every bad thing that we need every day. We don't. Sometimes it feels like we do. And I will give you that. But we all have good days and bad days. I always have good days and bad days. And if I'm having a really bad day, I usually let people know I'm having a really bad day. You may want to stay away. But if I'm having a good day, then it's just like, woohoo, I am cooking. So know that you've got this. Know that, I always tell people you got this, that you can make it through it. And, we've got for a few minutes I have left. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is that coming up very soon in the next couple weeks, we are getting back to the beginning of Pride, which is becoming, will be my 1 year anniversary here doing this show, which thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon and all of my friends and everybody that's been out there to help me. But bringing back Pride, and it's not just about Pride. This month has been the AAIP Pride Month. And if the government or even if a neighborhood is celebrating their heritage, learn about it. It doesn't have to be yours for it to matter. Learn about Asian Pacific Islanders, and know that that's way too many groups to be put into one little group. But learn things. I know you can. If you can go and get and start scrolling and scrolling down YouTube and learning about all kinds of horrible, nasty things. Learn about all the good things. Um, some networks have already started showing things about Pride. Um, as this is my community, and I will be talking about all of the things that are different this year that are different than they were last year. Now, some things are still going to be closed because some states are still closed, but some places are starting to do hybrids. So now is a good time for people to actually start being able to look around and see what's actually, are there going to be Pride events around? I know that a couple little events are just putting up a flag. And you know what? If you can just put up a little flag that shows support, that you're an ally, that works out great. If you can go to an event or volunteer at an event, that's even better. To be with your family. And we consider ourselves a family, to be with your community. These are the things that I've already started seeing. And I love it when networks start a little ahead, so that people can start learning more. People should learn more about, like I said, every group that's out there. Um, After Pride, well, Pride kind of rotates on for a little ways. But, you know, as weird as it is, the government has a calendar. Shouldn't be that weird, but yes, the government has a calendar, and they will tell you this month we are celebrating this. This month we're celebrating this. Don't wait for the government, for one thing, to tell you to celebrate anything, but find out what it is and maybe do something in your community to start to celebrate that community. Like next month, if I was to do something in my community for Pride, doesn't have anything really, I'm not making anybody in my community celebrate Pride for me. This is just something that I'm doing. Um, if, you know, if the month after that, another community is celebrating something, find out what they're doing and see if you can help and volunteer. Best way to learn about new people is to get out there and meet them. Now that we can get closer together, like I said, some places we still have to do the mask thing. It's just how it goes, but that doesn't mean that you can't go out now. It doesn't mean that you can't wonder what's going on, and it doesn't mean that you can't learn about a whole new group of people. These are great people. Doesn't matter what community they come from. Now, in the LGBTQIA community, you may be one of those letters, but you know nothing about the others. Well, why is that? We're a community, we're a family. I think of every time that they put people together, um, the government sort of made us a community and sort of made us band together. And so take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Go, I am a straight ally, but I want to be there to help out my gay community. Fabulous. That is fabulous. Just go and support. I know lots of straight people that go to gay events. Um, I know that the AAPI community this month had events where there were lots of white people and lots of Latino people and every other community there. Don't feel like because you don't think you fit in that you don't fit in. As a community, we can do a lot together. We don't all have to look the same or act the same to get the point across. And that right there is very important. And like I said, I'll be, talking a little bit more these next few weeks about Pride and different things around the different communities because it will be a little bit different. Yes, I do talk about Pride a little bit more than any of the other events due to the fact that I am your, LGBTIA, you are your guru here. But, I have learned so many things during the last year about my community. I've learned how people act towards them. I've learned how people react towards other communities that I may not have known quite as much because I wasn't out there. I was doing my thing with my group. And we all do this. You know this. We all do this. We all, you know, we tend to get into our little cliques. And that's why, find out what's going on, find out what communities need help out there. Does a community need some help celebrating their heritage? We're all proud of who we are. Every one of us is proud of who we are. That's kind of the end of that sentence, isn't it? We're all really proud of who we are. And that's not a horrible thing, but be realistic, be proud with them. Be proud with who you are. Be proud of who you're helping to celebrate. Help them celebrate. Help people celebrate. Who doesn't want to party? Help them celebrate. And like I said, in like 2 weeks, couple different weeks, I've got some really fun guests. Some really fun guests coming. One of them is a repeat from one of my very first shows that I can't wait. You're gonna love him. You're gonna love him. Um, but my big thing is for me to encourage you to take your breaks, take your walks outside. If you're working from home and you still have to be working from home, you know, it's okay. Take your little breaks, walk around the house. Don't, learn something new that maybe you always thought that you wanted to learn. It can't be, it won't be that horrible, I promise. And if it doesn't work, the worst that happens is that you wasted a little bit of time, but you tried and you tried, you know? Um, you got to try, when it comes to your mental health, we're always constantly trying. When we're doing other things, we're always constantly, you know, we're always trying to make it work. We suggest things. I always suggest that you call a friend, or a relative that you haven't heard from in a while. Have a party night, have movie night. have movie night. Um, if everybody's into a specific sport, you can all be watching the same sport and still have, and still texting back and forth, or, you can all be watching it together from different locations. My family, we've done that. We've done that. We did that during, the pandemic, still doing. These are things that, you know, you can have a book group. You can actually have book club online because the internet is amazing. You know that. You can have, you know, take care. We need to take care of our people though. We need to take care of our friends, making sure that they're okay. Like I said, for some people, this wasn't such a big deal being stuck inside all the time, but for others, it's been pretty hard. And, or some of us are waiting for that next big hug. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. So I always suggest that you call that friend or that relative or that neighbor, just to make sure that they're okay, you know, just to kind of check in, see what's going on. The next thing I want to do is to once again remind you to please take care of ours. Oh, okay. Please take care of our first responders. They're still working so hard. Okay. This pandemic is not over. There are still people coming in every single day with symptoms of COVID, and these doctors and nurses are still working their buns off. So if you can do a pay it forward to any of our first responders, then I would highly suggest that you do it. You don't even have to pick a hospital, pick a clinic, pick somebody, take some coffee, take some donuts, take something that makes them feel appreciated. You know, um, I know lots of nurses and doctors that are exhausted, and people have this tendency now of thinking that, well, for the most part, we don't have to wear our masks, so I guess that means that we don't have to do any of this. Well, it doesn't. It still means that nurses and doctors are working so hard. A couple weeks ago, I had to go back into the emergency room for an issue, and no worries. Um, but those nurses were in there just working like crazy, and this is important. It's important that we let them know, that we let the doctors know, that we let all the techs know. We let the people that clean the rooms know. We let the people that, you know, that help usher people in and out of those rooms, you know, help them know how appreciated they are. Let them know because they needed you. They need you. And trust me, you need them. So take your breaks when you can. Give tips, do incredible acts of science. Wow, I'm a scientist now. Incredible acts of generosity and honesty and, pay it forward. Um, know that it's okay to have good days and bad days. We're all going to grieve. We're all going to have bereavement. You know, when you're in quarantine, but we're going to make it through this. And as we learn ways to smile when smiling isn't that easy, that's kind of how it goes. So I want everybody to take note of your mental state. Know that I do see clients all the time. I will be having a breathing technique seminar coming up by the end of June. By the end of June. Um, and that'll be an online thing. So any of you can come. I can't wait. I want you to take care of your mental state. And there are so many groups out there that can help you for free. So please don't put it off because you think you can't afford it. Trust me, we need you. We need every single one of you because we love every single one of you. Okay. So I want you to take one more nice deep breath. Hold it down here. One more relax. Know that I care about you, and I will definitely see you next week.